Angie has made it easier than ever to hire high-quality pros to get all your home service jobs done well. Just bring them your project online or with the Angie app, answer a few questions, and Angie will connect you with local pros who match your specific needs. Or book a service instantly at an upfront price. So join the millions of homeowners who use Angie to care for their homes and get your next home service job done well. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
We took it all. We brought them to our land. An endless night, ember hot and icy cold. The rage of the earth. We made this curse. Carved it in the blood on our backs. We did not see. We could not, but she did. And in the end...
What will I become?
Senua's Saga. Hellblade 2.
Play it now with Game Pass.
You run out of 20 grand? In 5 months?
It goes fast. I did have students.
No, it goes fast if you're setting it on fire, okay? It doesn't have to go fast. That's a choice.
This is the plaintiff, Catherine Moyos. She says she met the defendant online. They hit it off immediately and even moved in together. A few months later, the cad stole $2,400 out of her bank account, used it at a strip club, and snuck all his stuff out of the apartment they shared. Some people. She's suing for $2,400, the amount the loser defendant stole from her. This is the defendant, Michael Meredith. He says he paid for everything while he and the plaintiff were hanging out, and she went behind his back and sold 40 pairs of hand-painted cowboy boots on eBay when she needed money. He took the money out of her bank account as a payback, owes her nothing but a good riddance, and thinks the judge will see it his way today. He's accused of cashing in.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Catherine Moyos.
Yes, ma'am.
You are suing Michael Meredith, your former boyfriend, for $2,400 that you say he stole from your account. You say that that was money she owed you for money that she stole from the sale of your boots. Okay. Let me talk to you first. How did you two meet?
Online at a dating website.
Okay.
In August of 2014.
All right.
He worked for a company that traveled around and built different gas station things, and basically I followed him around for 2 months. I had just come into some money from a BP settlement, and...
Okay, so hold on, slow down for me.
Okay.
So you met him online and then you just took off.
Basically.
Did you have a job, a family, anything that was keeping you wherever you were? Not
No.
really. And where were you? Where is it that you were when you met him?
Fort Myers Beach, Florida.
Okay. And when you say you had just come into a settlement, that's with the company BP Oil?
The BP oil spill that happened.
Okay. And why were you in a position to sue BP Oil? Were you living on the shore? What, did you have property there? What?
Barrier Island, Sanibel Island. I worked out on that island during the oil spill and afterwards, so I was entitled to a claim. Because
those businesses closed down and you were out of work.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do you mind telling me how much you came into?
Right about $20,000.
All right. So you had the means to go ahead and take off and kind of, you know, live a little.
Play, yes.
Okay. All right. So you did. And so you were with him for how long?
Well, we were together until March of this year. But we decided to move in together very quickly.
Like very quickly being how
like 2 months into the relationship.
Okay.
We got a place together.
She decided that.
Hold on. Go ahead. Yeah, it's funny how it always happens to the man. Okay, go ahead. Hold on. Go ahead.
We got a place together in...
you could say no.
In St. Augustine, and I put up the money to move in.
Okay.
First in security, the month of October was prorated. We moved in on the 14th.
He's still working at this company that has him traveling?
At the time, yes.
Did he have an apartment before he met you? So he doesn't need apartments. He just keeps going where the wind blows. He's a nomad, right?
I don't know.
Okay, so, well, no, you do. Well,
Now I
maybe
do.
you should know before you move in with the guy. How do you not know the answer to that question about the guy you're moving in with? I mean, so go on.
And, well, everything was fine and dandy until just around Christmas time. I did.
How much was the rent?
$1,200.
Whose name is on the lease?
Both of ours, and I have a copy of it.
Yeah, let me go ahead and hand that to my bailiff. So the two of you sign a lease, and then what goes wrong when things are finally not fine and dandy?
I run out of money.
Okay, you run out of 20 grand? In 5 months?
It goes fast. I did have student loans.
No, it goes fast if you're setting it on fire, okay? It doesn't have to go fast. That's a choice.
I did have student loans and such to pay off.
Okay, so you paid off debt?
Oh, definitely.
How much debt did you pay off?
About $8,000 worth of debt, and I pretty much squandered away the rest of it.
Okay, so go ahead.
Everything was fine and dandy until I ran out of money, and started to sell things on eBay. And
okay, so up to that point, you had signed the lease to move in together on what? I mean, you moved in together on what date?
October 14th.
That's when the apartment's first day in the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how often was he spending time there?
It depended on the work. He was there probably a third of the month.
Did he put his stuff there?
Oh yeah.
Where had his stuff been when he didn't have an apartment?
Storage unit.
Okay, so he emptied out the storage unit and put everything in there. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so when he would come home, that was his home?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. What was the agreement that the two of you had before renting the apartment about who was going to pay what?
I would put up the front money because I had it, and he would eventually pay me back, and everything would be split down the middle.
So the agreement, according to you, is we're splitting everything down the middle. What was the front money?
It was prorated for the month and then 1 month security deposit. So it was $1,920.
That's what was put up front. And then rent was how much?
$1,200 per month. And for 2 months, he paid his share by things that I sold on eBay for him.
That he asked you to sell, that you did behind his back?
No, I definitely did nothing behind his back, but I did sell a pair of his cowboy boots, 1 pair of cowboy boots. I emailed him.
What else did you sell?
Vapor flasks. They're, what are they called? E-cigarettes. They're basically a special type of e-cigarette. They're very expensive. 2 of them paid his half of the rent.
Okay. So when did it go wrong?
I guess at New Year's. We didn't have rent, and we didn't pay 2 months' rent. But I worked out a deal with the landlord that if we were able to come up with January and February's rent by March 1st, we were all squared away, and I had another 5 to 10 days to get March's rent.
And what was he doing or saying about that?
He got fired just at the same time, January 1st-ish, he got fired, so he didn't have money either.
Okay.
He wasn't saying anything, to tell you the truth. It was.
Why, if he has this I take it was a good job where he's moving around, and then why were you fronting all the money for the apartment? Why didn't he have it? He's not paying rent.
Child support.
Okay. How many children does he have?
2.
All right. So now he loses that job according to you, and now there's no money, and what's he doing? Is he in the apartment all day?
No, he's trying to find work, or at least he's telling me that and leaving.
All right, and then one fine day, on what date do you notice something missing from your bank account?
It was the day before the rent was due,
okay.
On the 1st of March.
And is his name on that bank account?
It's not a bank account, it's PayPal, a PayPal debit card.
Is his name on the PayPal?
His name is not on the account, but I got a separate card for him.
Why?
Because
you knew him so well?
I trusted him.
But why? You didn't know him well. That's not why. You've been fronting stuff, according to you. I don't know if it's true. We're going to hear his side in a minute. But you've had to front stuff because he's out of money with child support and he's squeezed, squeezed to support his own children, but doesn't have extra cash. And you're like, Moneybags McGee there, just going around for it. So why would you then also hand him a debit card on PayPal, which he could, charge up to high heaven? Why would you do that? Like, I'm not getting this. It doesn't seem like a lot of smart decision making. In any event, what day do you notice money missing from your, money charged on your PayPal account?
March 1st.
And what is it you notice charged?
$2,408.
In what did he buy?
He withdrew it at an ATM at a strip club. at
He
SOS.
withdrew it he withdrew $2,400 in one shot at an ATM at a strip club?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, you got to show me the proof of that, because I don't even know how one ATM can hand out $2,400. At a strip club? Maybe at strip clubs there are no...
There's not a limit probably, but...
SOS Gentlemen's Club. It's really a payment. It's not withdrawing from an account. It's a payment that PayPal made, and they're making you pay, because PayPal is a debit. When you call it a debit card, you don't actually have money sitting in PayPal. You have to pay PayPal's bills. It's just a clearinghouse to pay things. So he paid his $24.08 bill at the strip club with your PayPal card that you gave him. How's it look now to you to give a guy you've known a few months, barely because he's only there a third of the time, a PayPal card in your name? I can't hear you. Let's hear it. What's going on?
Well, first of all...
I take it you two broke up after that. Did you ever see him again after the strip club?
No.
Okay. So.
First of all, she didn't get $20,000, and I don't know if it matters, but she got probably like 15. And when I first picked her up, I was thinking it was...
What do you mean by picked her up?
Well, I came by her house, picked her up, and we went to Miami from Fort Myers. I had a job to do down there.
That's when you met her, when you first picked her up?
When I first picked her up, at 4 o'clock in the morning, I said, let's roll, get in the car, let's go. And we went. I thought it was going to be for the weekend. She stayed for 2 weeks.
Did you tell her it's time for you to leave?
Well, I mean, I didn't tell her it was time for her to leave, but you would think, you know, I said, hey, let's go for the weekend, and then the weekend passes, and then the next weekend passes, and then the next weekend...
It looks like maybe you were having a good time, too, because I can't help but notice that a few months later you signed a lease.
I was, but...
So now, all of a sudden, looking back, it looks like, you know, she overstayed her welcome.
I was spending all my money, you know, and
Say it again?
I was spending all the money. You know, she came with, like, no money at all.
I thought you just said she came with 15 grand.
No, this was at the end. She didn't get that 15 grand until after the 2 weeks. I spent all that money for us to hang out, you know, for the 2 weeks. When we were leaving town, that's when she got her check.
Okay.
Okay. And then she flew out to Atlanta and a couple other places, and basically I would go into a job, stay there for a month. She would come out and see me.
Okay. How'd she know where you were?
Because I would tell her.
Oh, okay. So you wanted her to come and visit and stuff.
Yeah, we had a good relationship at this time.
Okay.
I didn't get fired from my job. That part of that department of my job actually...
You got laid off?
Well, yeah, it shut down.
Wait, so let's not go to January when the job thing happens. Let's go back to October when you sign a lease, or September when you sign a lease for October. Why, when you say she wanted to move in, I thought that she was like deciding that you lived in her apartment, when in fact the two of you went out, shopped for an apartment, found one, and put both your names on the lease.
She found the apartment and told me to come over there and check it out, and it was a...
How big was the gun that she put to your temple?
You know, it was one of them situations where I wanted to help her out. I wanted her to get settled. And
you're so sweet.
But I was
You're
planning...
so kind and selfless. So you put your name on a lease with your girlfriend because you are a philanthropist. And this is the girlfriend who just got a $15,000 check from BP.
She basically knew that I would only be there for 1 weekend out of the month, not a third of the time. 1 weekend out of the month. Did you put your stuff there? Did you take it all out of storage? I did take it out of storage.
Oh.
And I did that because I was going... She didn't have a job, and I was going to...
Were you supposed to pay half of those bills?
We didn't say half. I said that I would help her out, but I put my stuff from storage in there so she could have something to do during the day to sell my stuff that on eBay. The problem is...
So what is it you're mad at that you think she sold behind your back?
Okay, well, the problem is she said she didn't sell anything but a pair of boots, but I'm missing like 8 pair, and probably a lot of other things. I have over 50 pairs, so it's hard for me to keep exact track of. I don't have an inventory.
So then how are you proving to me that she sold boots, made money off it, and pocketed it?
Well,
I think is what you're saying, right? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I mean, really, nobody else was really around, and I mean, she had access to them.
No. How are you going to prove to me that she sold them? Not that you're missing boots. You have to first prove to me you had all those boots. Then you have to prove to me that she sold them, which isn't hard. If she sold them, there's record on the internet of it. How are you doing that?
She denied that she sold them, so I didn't. I mean, I don't really know what to believe.
Why did you take $2,400 at a strip club and pay your? How did you rack up a $2,400 bill at a strip club?
I don't drink very much. I mean, I quit drinking.
So it was all lap dances? was?
I quit drinking like 10 years ago.
So how did you? That makes it even more intriguing. How did you rack up $2,400 at a strip club?
I took the money out and I spent it on strippers.
Her money. So that she would have to pay for your strippers.
I was drinking that I don't normally drink, and I was really drunk, and I haven't drank in 10 years. So
were you with anybody?
I was
besides the strippers?
I was with a couple of buddies, and we...
Did you pay everybody's bill with her card? What were you mad at that you would do such a thing to a human being
because
you supposedly
she stole my
loved?
artwork, and it meant something to me.
What artwork?
I make these cowboy boots, and I design them.
Okay.
And I put a lot of time into them.
When had you discovered, according to you, that she had stolen that? In relation to the strip club night?
Probably 2 days before, 3 days before.
Did you have an argument with her about it?
Yes.
You said to her, "Where are my boots?"
And she said, "You owe me money for rent." And I said, "Well, how many did you sell?" And she said, "Well, I don't really think that that's going to help the situation any, and I don't think that it's relevant." And I said, "Look, how much did you make off of them?" We got into a big fight, and that's when she said,
"Did you owe money for rent?"
She said, "I sold your tacky cowboy boots for $50 when I would normally sell them for $500 a pair." She said, "I sold them for $50. How do you like that?" And I said, "You know what?
I don't like that at all. I'm going to a strip club."
Angie has made it easier than ever to hire high-quality pros to get all your home service jobs done well. Whether it's routine maintenance, an emergency repair, or a dream project, Angie lets you compare quotes from multiple local pros, browse homeowner reviews, and even book a service instantly. Angie's been connecting people with skilled pros for nearly 30 years. So the next time you have a home project, bring it to Angie to get your job done well. Download the free Angie mobile app today or visit Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
We took it all. We brought them to our land. An endless night, ember hot and icy cold. The rage of the earth. We made this curse. Carved it in the blood on our backs. We did not see. We could not, but she did. And in the end...
What will I become? Senua's Saga. Hellblade 2.
Play it now with Game Pass.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So would you ever move in with somebody after dating them for 2 months?
No.
How long? Minimum?
6 months.
6 months? Would you ever do it if you really just fell head over heels?
I mean, yeah, if it's love, then go for it.
You know if it's love in 2 months?
Sure, why not?
They won't even fart next to you in 2 months.
Well,
right? Am I wrong?
Hopefully not ever.
Huh? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong at all. There's too much that's left to...
When do they fart? How many months?
More than 9 months.
Oh, no, just let it happen. Just be natural. Let it happen.
Going inside the courtroom.
You don't deny that you charged $2,400 in you and your buddies' liquor and strippers on her card. You don't deny that.
I don't deny that.
Okay, how do you think this is going to go?
It's probably not going to go well.
And do you deny that you owed rent? Like, in other words, there was a rent problem, that you hadn't been coming up with the $600?
Okay. I wasn't paying the full half amount because that's not what we discussed. She was trying to convince me to move in with her. I said, I'll come and stay and I'll help you out if I can.
What's the problem with that? I understand. I hear what you're saying, but
child support was killing me.
Yeah, don't have so many babies. All right, but here's the thing. Okay, seriously. Here's the thing. Your argument that I wasn't supposed to pay half really fizzles when your name is on the lease. It's one thing when it's all her, she shops, she gets it, she signs it, but hey, judge, you're supposed to pay half. You know, that's a little fuzzier. But when your name is half on the lease, that's very hard for you to say that when she's denying that that's the case.
Well, the reason, honestly, that I did that was because I wanted her to feel like I was trying to take part in something that she was so wanting to do. It wasn't because I wanted to pay half the rent. It was because I wanted her to...
No, nobody wants to pay half the rent. Everybody wants to be a gigolo. Yeah, that's much better. That way you have her paying for your $2,400 of strippers.
That. I wanted her to know
it wasn't
that.
It looks just like that. It looks like you took her card and made her pay for $2,400 worth of strippers and liquor with your two friends. That's exactly how it looks. Tell me how I'm seeing this wrong.
I mean,
what did you see in him?
This didn't come out until afterwards, until I told him.
What did you see in him before? Because people don't change in a month, okay? I think the answer is you didn't see. Because people keep thinking that you know somebody by talking to them online and on, FaceTime or Skype or whatever the heck people do. People think that that's a perfect situation where I can get in a car with someone who could be a homicidal maniac. I'm not saying you're a homicidal or a rapist. I'm not saying you're a rapist.
I said the same thing.
But what do you mean you said the same thing? You picked her up. She could be a homicidal maniac. She could be a nut. She could have a knife in her pocket and she could stab you in the throat and steal your car. It's on both of you. Look, listen. I think it's wild and crazy and young and fun and gosh, it's so much fun. It's so exciting. 4 in the morning, I'm going to get in the car with a stranger and we're going to live together for 2 weeks. In fact, now we're going to move in together. All that's really nice until it's not, right? And then when it's not, look at you. Look at you two on the People's Court of all places, right?
Right.
So maybe once we become adults, we have to have a little bit of adult responsibility, especially when there's kids involved. If we have kids and we need to support them and we have big child support payments, then we need to not commit to another lease, okay? All righty. You sold 1 pair of his boots?
Yes, ma'am.
And according to you, you had authority to do that?
I emailed him the label. He put the label on the box and shipped them himself.
May I see the proof of that?
I can't access that particular PayPal account anymore.
I don't see why you can't access the information rather than use.
I think I might have a copy.
You have it? Let me see.
I'm not sure if I do, but I think it might be.
Did you print up the label?
I did, but it didn't have the price on it. It just had the destination somewhere in Iowa. I don't even know if I have it anymore.
All righty then. I think we're done here. I'm ordering the defendant to pay the plaintiff the full amount of the $2,400. As for your claimed offset that she sold your art, you have zero proof of that. When this is I guess this PayPal account is actually in your name, so you're the one who could get it. I don't know if it's in both your names. But in any event, if that's the reason for you doing something, you should have proof before you do the something. Okay? $2,400, verdict for the plaintiff.
So the plaintiff gets her money, and the defendant comes out here losing this case. What's your reaction to this outcome?
I spent the money. I mean, it is what it is.
You embarrassed about how you handled it? Taking that money and going to the strip club? You embarrassed by that story at all?
I had a great time. I'm not really embarrassed about it.
Mm-hmm. Any final words here on this thing? You want to leave it?
Yeah.
Looking like that?
Yeah.
All right.
Sir.
All right, so you got your money, but what lessons have you learned here?
Dating online is probably not the best idea. I feel vindicated, and I'm happy that there's closure, but I just don't trust anybody anymore.
Dating him online is not a good idea.
No.
Harvey?
Okay, if you use money to create love, you are just simply barking up the wrong tree. It never works. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, James Malarkey. He says he paid to get the defendant's car fixed by a mechanic friend of his, and the woman refuses to pay him back. It's a darn shame, because he and her father were war veteran friends. And if he were alive today, he'd be ashamed of his daughter's actions towards him. Bottom line, it's a lot of money. He needs it, and is suing here and now for the $1,465 he's owed. This is the defendant, Margaret Jordan. She says the plaintiff borrowed her car, put 900 miles on it, and broke it to boot. He felt bad, took it to a friend to get it fixed, and then she sold it a few months later. Now he's coming after her for a so-called mechanic bill all this time later? She thinks not. And as sure as can be, the judge will agree. She's accused of letting a friend down.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says he paid to get the defendant's car fixed and she won't pay him, and it hurts all the more because he was a fellow war vet with her father. But she says the plaintiff broke the car in the first place. It's the case of car wars.
Thank you, Douglas. Malarkey, Mr. Malarkey versus Ms. Jordan. You are suing her for $1,465 that you say she owes you for a tow and repairs that you paid for on her car and that she was supposed to pay you back for. Tell me what happened.
Well, Your Honor, Peggy Jordan, I know her as Peggy Jordan. She called me on the phone and told me that her car wasn't properly working, and she had just came back from Volkswagen, and they told her that her car needed a new water pump, and it would cost $1,500. So I said, well, Peggy, let me take a look at the car. I used to own an auto body shop.
How did you two know each other?
I knew it through her father. Her father was a very good friend of mine. He was a World War II veteran. He was a tank commander with General Patton when they were at the Battle of the Bulge. And Joe was a real hero, a great man, honest man and a great man.
Are you a war
veteran? Yes, ma'am. Yes, I am. I'm a former member of the 82nd Airborne, 77 Special Forces, and I'm a pilot also.
Thank you for your service. So go ahead.
Thank you.
And for your father.
So anyway, she only lives around the block from me. I live on City Island. So I went around the block and I checked the car out, and it did need a water pump. Unbeknownst to me, the water pump is almost buried inside the engine. And in order to get that out, I had to take the grill out, practically had to take the whole front of the car apart. And about a week later, I said, I didn't have the proper tools to get inside where the Germans had hid the, they literally hid the water pump.
Those sneaky Germans, were you like?
Sneaks that they had nothing on
What kind of car was this? I'm sorry, VW.
Passat,
okay.
A Volkswagen Passat. Anyway, so I called this friend of mine up that has an auto body shop, and I told him, I said, listen, I need your help. So he said, send the car over. So I went to Crown Towing, and they towed the car over to his shop.
Okay. And then do you have a receipt from his shop?
Yes, I do, Your
Why
Honor.
did you pay it if this was just a favor you were doing, just hooking her up with a good price or whatever else? Why did you pay her bill?
Well, because she needed the car.
So then she can get the car when she pays the bill. I mean, does she approve $1,400 worth of work on it?
Well, it was either that or have nothing.
Yeah, but that's up to her. It's not up to you. That's what I'm kind of not getting. Because she has a very specific answer to this. Why? I'm asking him, why would he be the one who pays the $1,400 at the shop? It doesn't make any sense if it's your bill. Yes. And your answer to that is because it's not your bill. Because according to you, it was his fault.
Correct.
What is it you say happened to this car?
Okay, one night about 10:30 in the evening, I got a call from him that he was in a predicament where he had to get to Pennsylvania to a funeral, and if it's possible for me to lend my car to him.
When was that?
The exact date, I couldn't tell you.
Do you know when?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. 4 years before Peggy called me and told me that her water pump wasn't working. 4 years before.
So he says that was in 2009.
It's not 4 years.
How many years earlier?
I'm going to say 2 years, Your Honor.
Okay, so 2 years after he borrowed your car, you call him and say, my water pump went?
No. So he came, he got the key, he took the car. He went to Pennsylvania. The next evening, about 11 o'clock, he brought me the key back. I said, okay, everything's good, good. Next morning, got up, went to go out, got in the car, had the radio on, and I hear shh, I turned the radio off. The bottom plate of the car was hanging off the car with no gas in it, okay? I lend you a car, you can't even give me a little gas back in the car, and went 900 miles in my car, okay? I called him on the phone. 2 weeks it took him to respond. I said, what did you do to my, don't worry, it's okay, I'll take care of it, what are you getting so excited? I was very excited.
How long did it take him to fix that plate?
9 months.
That's
what did
not
you
true, Your Honor.
Okay, hold on. What did you do? You didn't drive it in 9 months?
I didn't drive it. Maybe I would take it. Now the plate is completely off. Okay, no plate at all covering the wires.
Did you ever take it somewhere to have an estimate?
No, because he was going to fix it, and I was.
Yeah, but after the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth month, you didn't get exasperated?
He kept telling me, give me a couple of weeks. What are we going to do?
Well, that ends up getting taken care of. Then the water pump goes.
That's right.
And he takes it then to his place. He tries to fix it himself.
He can't do it. He has the whole car ripped open, all in pieces in my driveway. And I came out and I said to him, you got to be kidding me. I can't get to it. The Germans got it down below. He says, you know those, and you know, a little excitement with the words. And I said to him, this isn't working. I said, get out of the driveway, get a tow truck. Pardon me.
Okay, it's all right.
Get a tow truck.
You're getting closer and closer to him as you're getting angry and angry. My bailiff is getting nervous. He keeps walking. Go ahead.
I I said, get a tow truck and get it out of here, and get a flatbed. Okay, so down the street comes a tow truck. I said, where's the flatbed? I don't want no flatbed. I'm going to pay for it. Okay, go ahead. Up he went. He took it to this fella over near this hospital that we live at. The guy said to him, get that out of here. I don't want no responsibility for that. He took it, and he took it to a guy up the avenue. That guy says, we can't do anything, and he took it over to another...
Well, hold on one second. I do want to know how you know that. How do you know all that?
Because I followed to see where my car was going.
Hold on.
Okay, so does he know you followed him?
You know now, don't you? Anyway, so he took it to someplace else, and I went into the guy, and I said to him, he said, I have a guy going to fix, he says, but can't promise you. I said, really? Okay. So it was going to be a Band-Aid job. Okay. Car was ready. He came to get me. Got in his car, drove over, got in my car. The clock didn't work. The lights didn't work. He says, we'll fix that next. I said, that's it, done. Took the car, sold the car.
Who paid for the car?
He did.
And were you present when he paid for the car?
No. So he told me.
So
I was not present.
Did he ever say to you, the bill is $1,400?
No, he did not.
Why did you pay for the car if you're not responsible for the car?
Well, because she was out of work. She said to me, I have no money. How am I going to pay for this car? I said, wait a minute. You call me to take care of your car. I couldn't do it. I brought it on a flatbed, Your Honor. She doesn't even know what she's talking about. It was outside the house.
Tow truck, malarkey.
Okay.
It's right there on the bill, Your Honor. Tow truck.
Yeah, it says tow. A flatbed tow.
Flatbed,
Wasn't
yes, Your Honor.
Stop.
No flatbed.
Stop. Go ahead.
It was a flatbed that took the car away, Your Honor.
No, I really need you guys to stop talking to each other. All right, so I have a question for you. Why did you pay for the car? You're already yelling at each other, not getting along, it's not working out. Why would you, if you're not responsible for it, why are you acting so responsible for it?
Well, because, Your Honor, I tried with good faith to repair the car. Couldn't do it because I didn't have certain wrenches that the Germans have to do the car. I brought it to a friend of mine by flatbed. I had every part marked. I had it in the back seat of the car.
But why would she have to pay for him having to reassemble everything you disassembled? That's got to be part of the 9.5 hours.
Well, because it was such a nightmare, this car, Your Honor,
But you're not listening to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, okay, look, there are several things going on here that I'm trying to get a handle on. If he borrows a car 9 months earlier, and a water pump goes 9 months later, is he responsible for it? According to you, yes, it's because of whatever work he did on fixing the grill on the bottom. But did it go just because it was time for it to go, because it was a 2006 VW Passat, and it's now 2015? Or did it go because of something he did? Then you take it to him.
I paid for the water pump, by the way.
What part did you pay of the $1,400? The water pump is on this.
I paid for that water pump in cash because every time he'd say to me, I have no cash.
I don't know. Wait, I'm not understanding. I don't understand what you're saying.
It was temporary. I would pay and he would give me the money back because he was going to pay for everything.
Who told you that?
You did.
Don't talk to... Okay, that's enough. I mean it. You two have to stop.
You're full of malarkey.
Okay, stop.
Insulting,
stop. The next person who does that is walking out.
So is there any way of proving that if there's a 9 months lapse between the time the guy borrowed the car and the car broke, is that any proof that the plaintiff caused the water pump to break?
No, I think the water pump could have broken the next day and it wouldn't have been his fault.
Even one day?
One day.
Is that right? One day and tough luck?
Absolutely. There's too much that could have happened in between.
You buy in one day? That one day later, it's still not the plaintiff's fault?
Yeah, it can't be his fault.
9 months?
It's just too much time.
Ridiculous.
It's really ridiculous.
Ridiculous, going inside the courtroom.
Do you have a statement from whoever this friend is who did this work here for $1,400? Do you have a statement from him of what work he did for 9.5 hours? Because he doesn't say anything.
You see, Your Honor, when that 9.5 hours was putting this car back together again.
Okay.
It wasn't just the water pump.
Whose fault is that? That it had to be put back together again. You undertook to do something you didn't have the tools to do, and you should have known that and not undertaken to do it. So why would she ever be responsible for that? If I went to this place and said we need a new water pump, it wouldn't cost me $1,400. What would it cost me?
Well, the pump is they charge $301 for the pump.
It was $65.
Okay, that's it.
I'm sorry.
You did it again. Do
Yes.
me a favor. Have a seat there.
Yes.
Okay, maybe that'll stop it. Go ahead.
He told me it was going to be $301 for the pump and the parts that's necessary. I told him, I said, well, you got to put it all back together.
Right. Why you're suing her to pay for him putting it all back together as well as for the water pump?
Because
even if you're not responsible for the water pump, how would you not be responsible for putting it all back together when you're the guy who took it apart without the right tools and didn't know what he was doing?
Well, she asked me to take care of the car. I did. I done the best I could.
So my question to you is, what is the reason why she wouldn't pay you if you've been trying to collect payment for 2 years?
I asked her many a times when she'd be passing by my house. I'd see her and I'd say, Peggy, ever going to pay me? Screw you. I went to the guy and he said it would only cost $400. I said, what does the guy look like? I don't have to tell you anything. That bull she gave you about following me and everything. What did she follow me in? Well, what is she, roller skating it?
I don't know.
Borrowing cars,
Come on up, Ms. Jordan. Come on up.
Back up. Thank you, ma'am.
Earlier, when he said, well, she was out of work, you blurted out in that fashion that you do.
Yes.
You blurted out, how am I going to get to work? So how were you following him if there wasn't another car?
I had a friend that lent me a car. I borrowed a car.
Lent you a car in a split second?
Yes.
Because the guy was leaving with the truck.
Neighbor across the street, yes.
Did you ever talk to the guy who repaired the car who said that it was only $400?
Yes.
Who is that guy? Because I have a bill for $14.
Yes. Who he is, I don't know. I didn't get his name. When I went there, he said, he told me put down number on it on the paper. I said, really? I said, well, how much was it? He said, well, $400, but maybe not $400. He wasn't even sure what the cost was because
okay,
but
I imagine that Mr. Malarkey has shown you this before.
No, I've never seen that. Your
Never?
Honor. No, Your Honor.
Did you ever show her that?
Yes, I did, Your Honor, and she kept the bill. That's how she knew where the place was.
That's not so.
But she never went there.
That's nonsense.
She couldn't describe to me what the guy looked like.
It's only one guy
I said,
there.
where is the place at? I don't have to tell you, she said.
That's right. Because
how did everything get so bad between the two of you?
Because
your father was one of his closest friends, and
no, that's exaggerated, Your Honor. My father was in the vending machine business. He was in the bar business. I'm sure that they had a relationship, but not best friends.
So how was it that the guy calls you and says, I need a car to go to Pennsylvania if you're not close?
I met his wife one day, and she's, oh, you live here now, Peg? Yes. Oh, yeah, I live around the corner, and she passed away, God rest her soul. And I'd see him from time to time. Hiya, how are you? Blah, blah, like that. And he called me to use my car. He has 7+ cars, 1 airplane, and a 54-foot yacht. What does that say?
I have no idea, because had you said that earlier, I would find it even stranger that you would loan him your car. Do you have an airplane, a yacht, and 7 cars?
Yes, I have a Cessna 182.
And a 54.
Why did you have to borrow her car if you have 7 cars?
I didn't have those cars at the time, Your Honor. That's why I'm saying it happened.
What happened? Tell me this. I am so curious. Why did you wait 2 years to file the lawsuit?
Well, I'll tell you why, Your Honor. I seen her in the street, and every time she'd say to me, screw you. When I say,
how many times does a person have to say that before you go to court, though? 2 years worth of it?
Only because I got a little fed up of her every time we met. Screw you.
So a couple of screw yous are okay, just not that last one?
No. It wasn't that. I guess it was just...
Come on up. All right, folks, here's what I think. Neither one of you are 100% correct. You had a water pump go 9 months, according to you, 4 years, according to you, after the guy borrowed it. How are you going to prove that that had something to do with what he did? And you take a car apart piece by piece, send it over. There's 9.5 hours of labor putting it back together. How is she going to pay for that? You're going to pay $400 for the water pump, and you're going to eat the rest of it as part of what you did to the car. That's my verdict.
The plaintiff has to pay for taking that car apart, and here's the defendant. You're paying for that water pump. Here, step next to me here and tell me what's your feeling on this outcome here?
He's full of malarkey, and I have to pay now again. I have no car, no water pump, and here we are.
You know who's not here is his old friend, his old war veteran friend, your dad.
My father would have put a bullet in his head.
Right back this way.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so step on in here, Mr. Merlocki, and what's going through your mind here?
Nothing much.
You heard that comment.
I know. I've listened to her before. That's why I'm here in this court today. She's a scam artist. That's what this woman is. She took advantage of my good nature because I know her father, who was a great man, a great fella, World War II veteran, a fella that General Patton had as his lead command tank.
How sad do you think he would be if he saw all this go on?
I think he'd be throwing up. I really do.
Harvey?
Okay, Kurt, so here's the thing. If you suspect that somebody damaged your property after they borrowed it, it is so important that you speak up immediately, and that I would document it with an email or something. If you wait any period of time, the first thing they're going to say is, it wasn't on me, you did it after they borrowed it.